And we're back, everybody. It's a Monday. How's it going? Let's get started. S&P's down 60. Nice way to start the week. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Thanks for showing up. Thursday was a lot of fun. Great to give away a bunch of books and software. Again, if you needed to connect with Miss Stephanie on the Discord, that's where you send your information. Let's jump right into S&P 500, since that is pretty much the big market getting killed. Nasdaq's down too. But we're still gonna, we talked about the levels on Thursday. We're still looking at the whole uptrend now. So today, yesterday, last session, Friday, Thursday, just a big pause after last week. And much like what happened in November, all about the lows though. We want to maintain the prior lows, and essentially it's like 4,000 on the S&P 500. Upside targets for the big type 2. It's like this. Just briefly to review for S&P 500. The deep crab type 2, that's been in ever since 35.50, and the top target's 42.78 on this move, not to break the uptrend. Minimum retest, the bat pattern, 41.38, 41.40. That, we said this Thursday, nothing changes just because we're down today, 60. That doesn't change. So be aware of that. I'm not, I mean, today got clipped, probably some news. Here we are on a 5-minute. Show everybody some interesting stuff I've been working with on HSI intraday, and this is something I'm going to be talking about in the seminar on Saturday. So if you don't know about that, please jump on the Discord again, and then the actual invitation and location of where to go will be posted later today. More on that tomorrow. Let me show you where you can access that. Go to harmonictrader.com and then click on the blog for now. Go back to the blog. I see that was gone. Information here is on Black Friday special. So that will be rolled out. The information for that will be rolled out on the website. But you can see what's available there. You can still subscribe. I don't know if the discount still works. It might only be a 10% discount now. If you have questions, again, reach out on Discord. If you're brand new, again, go to harmonictrader.com and just start as a basic member. The other detailed information is all on the basic members page right here. Okay, and of course the trials, everything. Today I'm going to work mostly with the eSignal platform. That's one of our pro platforms, and then still tell everyone get set up with TradingView. I'll look at TradingView with some crypto in a moment. Big shout out to the chat. Welcome everybody. Mr. Lodak, thank you. Santiago. Did someone say Mitch is in here? Mitch Ray, what's up? Mitch is saying SPX and VIX ruined the party. We'll talk about that for sure. I mean, VIX is, we've been waiting for one bullish candle on VIX. Is that today? And we did scrape the 19 level. We'll see. I think this is, I like the, I really do like the volatility. I mean, at least it's not straight up blow off action. Something that I talked about on Thursday is, or after the big pop, was don't be surprised to see a little 1-bar 382 pullback of this big pop. I projected that out last week. Where was that? 1 second. Yeah, this 50% pullback of last week's big pop is around 40.40, which I literally said, don't be surprised if we come down there. You know, we're flirting down here. It's a long day. Again, I'm not really too fazed by this little flash down. Let's see what happens. The thing I'm looking for, though, and I did want to highlight this, is a kind of our feature technical trigger of the day on something major, is that we might potentially pop out of daily HSI, okay, up for this entire run. That would be significant. Trigger a daily bearish signal, be the first one in a while. No confirmation, though, on amplified RSI or your standard RSI. But I would start looking, let's see what happens by the end of the day into tomorrow. We hit that overbought zone last week and started rolling over. We haven't seen that. Actually, you go back, the last extreme reading was back down right at the low in October. And the bearish, it's been ping-ponging extreme to extreme on HSI real nice. That I'm going to pay attention if that triggers in the next day or two. There's bears out here. Yeah, there's bears out here for sure. They want to be. Anyone laugh at when Michael Burry said he's not short anymore? So who knows? We were saying that last week, and then he says, I'm not short. I want to measure up the levels, still target 4140. You would have to have a 3-bar breakdown, some kind of trend line breakdown. So you're a few days away from destroying any kind of party here. Not too worried about it. In fact, I would look at the short term. Check out the 4-hour bearish patterns we were looking at last week. This big deep crab up here. But just another pause. I mean, this one barely triggered any confirmation, and we're oversold now on the 4-hour time frame. So let's keep an eye on that one. I think this is, if this was going to fall apart, this would be a lot lower. Again, I think this is going to be wrestling 4,000 from now till the end of the year, but it's still up. We've got to break some. You'd have to really fall out of bed under 39.50 for this thing to fall apart. Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Hey, Evan, what's going on? That's funny. Arun, you're asking about the screener on eSignal. Really quick, I can show that. That's actually something that is a real advantage on this platform. I think it's probably one of the most stable. This is the eSignal Pro platform. It's a data subscription service, but I really like the tools, and I've been using this for over 20 years. The eSignal platform. We've had this program for 6 or 7, and then for the patterns and everything, you can do the lists. I think one of the easier scanners. But how I look at these and how I look at any scanner, really, if I'm going to go use the scanner feature, and that's available on TradingView and the other ones, is take a look at what the pattern matches are and look at the number of bars. Nike's flashing a bat pattern right now with 0, so that means it just hit. Or American Express has got a bat pattern with 2 bars. That means it just hit. I'll show you. Let's go. I'll just take a look at this one really quick. There's been a lot of great patterns. I mean, no doubt. Daily, these Dow stocks. Here's AXP. And that's a daily scanner, by the way, so you're not going to get as many, but here, let me bring that up. Has that completed yet? No, it's, let me see here. The pendings are coming up. Hold on one second. These are the ones we're looking at. This list. This one's got Bat and Gartley. What's that? Goldman Sachs. Hold on. Let me pop that up. That should be linked. And I know why. Because that has to be right there. 1 second. I don't have that listed. Here you go. That's what I wanted to show you. Okay. I didn't have my bearish display setting on. I clicked on, someone asked for the screener. So just 1 second, just to show that on the eSignal platform. The way that you do it is you hit the bars setting and you're looking for 0 or 2 or even 20 because you know there's development there. And I clicked on Goldman Sachs. Okay, there. And it links up for the Gartley. Or go to something like, hold on, Nike. 1 second, I've got to link the chart. You got to link them. This is one of the things you got to learn. It's their platform, and then it's our built-in program. So they have functionality. You got to learn how to use that. There you go. So I clicked on that. American Express showing us a Gartley. Where's that Gartley? I'll have to look at that. Let me look at Nike. It's not really showing it too well. Hold on, let me see if it's a pending pattern. Just so you can see that. Because that's how I scan through the patterns and look for major completions. Hold on, let me bring up the pending. I don't have the potential and pending patterns, and that's what these are, because they just completed. There you go. Sorry about that. You got to check your settings, but I did want to show that. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but that's exactly how you do it. And you see how close it puts you. So we're looking at Nike right now. It just completed a bat, 0. So today's day 1 on Nike. Just make sure you have these settings selected. If you're going to go for that eSignal, check it out. Check the information out on the website. But that's what I had to select in here. And you can go through all of them. I do want to get back to the S&P 500 because, again, I think it's thing is the volatility is increasing, I think, obviously with today. But here you go. Just back to this really quick. It's I'm not concerned about this until the obvious lows under 39.50 going forward. And like I said, today, come back, retest what happened on Friday. But I'm looking for this thing to at least, if it triggers, maybe later today, we would still have to go through a check back. This is early. Just keep in mind this is early. It would be triggering earlier than we'd want to see at the minimum 41.40. It's just not lined up quite where the confirmation could come in. But it's the early development for the week. The NQ futures are not really as structurally as positive as S&P. Here's what the software is flashing. Another kind of back-to-back situation where this is a pending pattern. That's how it generates the structure. And even that's showing us at about 12,700. There's a quick question on, can you explain this butterfly pattern B point alignment? Which one? MQ, can you tell me what the B point on the butterfly has to be a 786. Each of the patterns, the MW formations, have to have a specific B point. Bat pattern, 50% or less generally. The crab 618, butterfly pretty precise 786. So those structures are important because when they do take shape, I mean, we are anticipating stuff like this. That being a bat bam breakout and retesting the obvious resistance. 12.5, 12.6. And you have patterns back there. So again, today, rolling over, what's NASDAQ? NASDAQ's off 120. And you have stuff like this. All the big names, Amazon. Oh, wait, hold on. Amazon coming back down and retesting actually the daily zone that I'm looking down here on this. Absolutely. I think it could be in a situation where this is just, it's taking its time and hitting these larger zones. Let me bring this back up. There you go. Here's the situation on Amazon of also checking back 91.75. Did the check back 1-2 bullish candles. I mean, you're looking for it really to do something here. You wanted to wait for a breakout. If this turns around, breaks out above 97, then you're back on for the whole pattern. Plus, what's that gap fill? A gap fill's like 89.25. I'm not dismissing this. This is really potentially huge. I know it looks like garbage, but it's a 2 of 2 with confirmation, and potential upside is enormous if you wanted to wait for a simple 3-bar breakout. Wait for a bullish candle, some kind of reversal, then you hit some option plays. At least back up to the zone again. This is a lot the same as a similar situation to Google. Google is actually almost back up to the target 1. But if this gets going, like the next one I'm about to show you, that could be it. That could be on a daily level with that kind of a pattern. That could be it. Here's another one in that same category. Love it or hate it. Meta's really starting to do things. So on a longer term scale with these kind of patterns and price action, I mean, that's impressive price action. The only thing we need to really determine is this an exhaustion gap on Meta? It kind of looks like it now. You're trading 123. Look, this gap comes on the top side there at 130, gets filled, and you clear out above that 135 level. There's a lot of room to run. Looks terrible. I know, it looks really terrible, but how is it reacting off of that hop level? Here's confirmation. Does a little pause, but it's persisting. And target 1 is 251. Don't underestimate that. It's just where in this general area can we get back in? 116 at that hop level. Plenty of time, but if this thing gets going, another option situation, because I think once it clears above certain levels here, it's back on. I mean, it survived that hop level. And look at the weekly. We've been staring at this for a while. It looked like it was going to completely collapse to 59. How do you feel now? Weekly hop level 97.90 sticking within 2-3 weeks. with I say ideal price action. Last week's high 124.04. Above that, close above that, you I think it's even clearer on the weekly. Hey Bob, what's going on? Yeah, we can look at silver doing things. Gold too. Yep. Yeah, we'll look at DraftKings. DraftKings was a three ideas pick. All of these FANG stocks and everything, folks, I think they're giving us opportunities here where, remember, I said this last week, you're going to hit certain points in the market where you say the big ones, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, Google, are 50%, 60% off their all-time highs, no matter what their all-time highs were. Just generally, contrarian thinking says you have to start looking somewhere. And I think a lot of the weekly patterns that we have, early signals, but you're 3-4 weeks into this, shaping up in ideal fashion. I mean, that's the first constructive anything price action since the summer, even though the summer went nowhere. So don't, just we don't want to sleep on that one. And then finally, Microsoft, which is the big one, just did a real interesting thing at here on the weekly, big bat pattern. On the daily, a little bit different. So the daily has this deep crab pattern. We've known about the 220 level forever, and it's done a reaction and trying to, it formed an HSI 245, 244 actually was that minimum. Are we going to come back down for one more retest? Because the way this is acting, if it breaks out, I think it goes to target 265. Pretty strong up day last week. And then even though it didn't go higher, you have two strong bullish candles. This is just in a pause mode. I'll look at, really quick, let me look at the gold. Let's look at GLD, and we'll look at silver too. Okay. Couple of bullish patterns, but already hit target 2 at 165. That's basically 1650. Let's look at gold futures chart. I think it's on the weekly. Yep. So here's the big bat pattern. And believe it or not, we're still in a type 1 because we never hit target 1. We never hit 1831. 1831 is probably it for the move. Last week we were 1775. No, sorry, we were, what was that? 18 and a quarter. I think you got to look at 1831 and that being it. Just take a look at 1831. Probably, did we register on HSI? Almost. That's not done yet. I agree with you. Who's saying that? Mitch Ray's saying that. Sorry, I'm just glancing at the chat. Someone saying higher high on gold, making a higher high on gold. No, I think 1831 has to be the target for now. Yet you didn't hit it yet. You got really close. You're almost there with HSI. December is a good seasonal month for gold. So maybe in the next 2 weeks. But 1831 is, we get up there and it stalls. That could be it. Silver. Here we go. 23 now. This was something on the daily. No, this chart is that chart up bad? Well, there you go. Do you have the software? Who asked me for the silver? Because I think you have you got to have the software. I mean, 2387 on the is target 2, but we didn't do the, you could almost call that a type 2. It's really close. I mean, it's something like that. And now, just like gold, you got to look at this upside target. You don't bust through 24, you're done. You're probably done for that move and back down. Close to getting some confirmation too. Even for your relative strength folks on silver, that's pretty interesting. Take a look. You're forming a divergence. Q Mitch Ray. Mitch. Divergence on silver. Simple divergence. I would say it's a simple divergence because you did not come to the 50 level between those two tests, but you compare that to a initial peak and then a secondary peak that is slightly higher while RSI has rolled over. Keep an eye on that one. Strong move. I haven't looked at silver probably in 2 months. Dalton saying central bankers bought 400 tons of gold in Q3. Yeah, I just think we're hitting these targets. I think we don't want to dismiss the targets. The gold market, silver market, XAU been responding really nicely to the pattern levels. We've been disappointed in gold for a year and still don't have anything major. Take a look at the monthly. Nothing. What's the gold though? I know there's something here on gold, long term, super long term. Monthly HSI. Well, again, watch those. Let's move on. Let's watch those targets though. Listen, the big news with that kind of stuff, if you're looking at gold and silver to do anything, I wouldn't expect them to go above those targets. But U.S. Treasury yields, the 10-year with the big pattern, folks. This is the number one chart you got to watch. Even though everyone's talking about the 2-year, this is it. There's your 10-year yield. Are we going to break this hop level? We have a bat pattern, okay, that says 345 is that's trying to mark the absolute low for this immediate correction. Otherwise, this thing under 345 is probably done. And I'll get to the 10-year in a second. But that's a big pattern. That's against the other weekly that we've been talking about all year. Remember this one? Hop level, then HSI. Because if we don't hold 345, then what is this? It's a type 1. Type 1 reaction back down to maybe as low as 290 on that move. So it'll be 345 and then 290 and then 196 if we do a full type 1 reaction. Everyone's talking about what's going to go on there. Dollars all over the place. I know that. The 2-year yield, remember this. Again, we've talked about this before. Here on the monthly, it's an exact 1618. Remember that. Let me bring this up. Hold on. Let me improve this visual here. 2018 peak down to the low. It's up to that exact high right there is 1618. I mentioned this a few weeks ago. Since that's an exact 1618, if it's a harmonic pause, harmonic reaction, type 1 reaction, which we'll know on a violation of this last month low, you go to a minimum 236. That's, I know it's not what we typically look at, but even in a pause situation, you're looking at a substantial drop down. Or if we're going to look at a 382, that's lower. That's like this. It's like this. 382 gets you down to 3%. Right there, 305 from 435. You're 1 bar away on that 2-year yield on a monthly chart. See what happens end of the month. And then combine that with VIX. So here's that VIX chart you were talking about. We do have a huge patterns here. No doubt. And we don't have any individual bar confirmation until today. I mean, look how small this bullish candle is. And look at, I've been saying, this whole down move is just mostly bearish candles. We hit the zone. We barely have one bullish candle. Today might be the second bullish candle in the zone. Still no confirmation. Also, this is retesting a prior pattern. It literally is a type 2 of this prior Gartley. Oh, check that out. It's flashing. There you go. It's back-to-back patterns. Let me blow it up. And we've been saying look at 1981, or if it's really ugly, as low as 1761 on this Gartley, because that's relevant. And that should be the limit. You need one more day. I would say you need one more bullish green candle. You hit the hop 1981, you're reacting. Yeah, I mean, you have to put in a couple of, if volatility is going to really pick up here, these patterns are going to put a floor on volatility. Yeah, it doesn't go under that hop level at 1761. It's somewhere around 1981. Now 2047. If the 2-year yield comes down, does that also imply that the terminal Fed funds rate will decrease from the current high expectations? EU started the Russia oil embargo today. We'll look at crude oil in a second. If volatility is going to pick up off of these patterns, it needs to respond, needs to break out of the downtrend from this kind of deflation of volatility since October. If the market's going to roll over, like a lot of people are thinking, a lot of the bears are thinking it's going to roll over here in a major way, that volatility needs to do several days bullish candles and then just go right back to the top end of the zone at 32. It's kind of like this. You have back-to-back patterns here where generally 19 support, 32 on the top side for the last year or more. So do look at that. We're still early in this decline against those bullish patterns, but it is a type 2 against the Gartley that makes it interesting. Let me go over to a different chart. Let's quickly look at Let me bring this up. Dollar index. There's the monthly dollar index. Remember this? Okay. We did have by definition, that's a shark pattern on a monthly basis. And this is the first time we've hit target 1, target 2 area. HSI on dollar index on the monthly is going to trigger by the end of the month. Those are some big, big developments. Also, the relative strength, standard relative strength on the monthly, that's clearly out. Amplified, that's our thing. Amplified RSI, yeah, that's out too. And then finally HSI, that's triple confirmation on a monthly. So I'll come back to this, and that's why I think a lot of the other charts are lining up to say, you know, you've hit the maximums for now. If it's interest rates, if it's dollar index, okay, whatever was going on in the last 6 months hit its maximum, measured maximum, needs to do minimum 382 pullback. You know, dollar is like this. Long term, give me a 50% pullback to 101, now 105. You're already at the 382, but you know, you're clearly heading down out of the zone. DXY has a bullish bat right below the 200 week. I'll take a look. On the software, are you saying on Harmonic Pattern Collection, or are you just tracing out like an 886? I don't have it on the futures chart, dollar futures. Now I do. Huh. Okay, it's on a daily. That's a nice one though. Thanks for pointing that out. Okay, pretty nice. Bullish bat for the dollar. Longer term, we were just saying not there yet, or about to roll out of the zone. Even on the, see, here's the thing. I would want to wait for confirmation. If this is just going off the daily, ignoring the weekly, this is why I'd want to wait for the confirmation. You're so close to being there on dollar index. So that could actually flash down to 103 on this move and then consolidate before going lower. It's a nice call though. I appreciate you shouting out this bat pattern on the dollar. And that's probably generating on the TradingView version too. Got it. But that's a sharp downtrend, and you know the weekly is the weekly position. That's definitely helps to say, okay, coming out. Sorry, the monthly. There you go, monthly. It's like that. Monthly is going to register. Absolutely register across the board. Quickly, crude oil as S&P goes to the low of the day. Crude oil is, I really don't think it's going to actually, hold on one second. There you go. It's amazing how this thing has kind of become disconnected with the story. I don't think it's actually going to kind of fulfill this crazy paranoia scenario that everyone's claiming is going to happen this winter. And I don't think anything's going to happen until you fulfill some big patterns. It's a great kind of dichotomy between the measurements and the story. This is the pattern we've been looking at on light sweet crude. Shark pattern, 84.50, has kind of floundered most of the fall. Did it hit the zone this summer? Hit this all the way back in June, July, and nothing but straight down. So, if anything, this has become an area of resistance, and the weekly chart. We've been kind of leaning to this on the whole crude picture. It's a all-time 382 retracement after being an all-time 886. So all-time 382. Again, if that's that whole cycle is over, the 382 at 63.88. Now 78.56. Take a look quickly. I'll flip over to the TradingView platform, but I did post something on Twitter about XLE, and we've been watching this monthly crab basically reverse in ideal fashion over the last couple of weeks. That was up there around, what was the trigger off of that prior high? 91.28. You take out last month's low, close below that low, that should really get you going on the whole thing. So that one, ExxonMobil or Chevron, these are the big ones too. They're all showing the same kind of thing. Big patterns, hitting resistance, and then you just need like a 1 month close, and that should do it for those stocks. What's the other one? ExxonMobil. I think that's a weekly on ExxonMobil. Hold on. Yeah. Oh, ABCD up there, but it's there's a crab up here, I thought. I'll have to look at that. I know we had a 114. We had a crab pattern. I don't know where that got to. Why that's different. Got the right setting. But we've been on that for energy, and again, even some of our favorites. Remember Marathon Oil? A lot of the people that have been around the last 2 years remember this at around 7. I think this is done for now in a major way. Check out the Gartley here. That's just a beautiful pattern. Where'd it go? There you go. Bat pattern. Sorry. Beautiful bat pattern on Marathon. It might be a Gartley on the weekly. Hold on. Bring that up. It's really slow to load. Definitely a bat though. Type 1 bat, but you're already rolled out, did your 3-bar reversal, 26.25. Sorry, 26.65 is target 1 on the bat. Quick question. I get the last leg wrong always. Any suggestions you mean in measuring the pattern? I think the best answer for that is to get the software and get a free trial. Just go off of the algorithms that are generated and follow the confirmation techniques that we use, because the algorithms are designed to show the ideal proportions. There are limits. There's ratio tolerance limits built in. So you're getting super specific M&W structures and what I call, the true harmonic level. Sometimes it varies slightly. In fact, this structure is a great example, because you could technically say, well, all right, this is a bat pattern, I guess. There's X to A, that's the extreme high to low. And then I measure here. And then maybe I could say that's an 886, but if you don't measure that properly, or maybe you say, oh, maybe that's an alternate bat, so it goes to the 113, and then you miss the trade. Well, you don't have to do that. You don't have to guess, because what I'm showing is go off where the software generates the same patterns, measures the markets the same way, and then look for confirmation that comes in, and that's your target zone to the right of confirmation. The other thing is that you're also not even guessing on your measured target limits, and you guys know how accurate these target limits are. For Marathon, I'm bearish on longer term, but even for this pattern, I'm just saying target 1, 26.65. So that should be the reaction lower on this move. But that's it for now. The other stuff, those monthly charts, that works the same way. It's just going to take, if we reverse another month or two off of XLE or Chevron, yeah, that would be a much larger reversal, take you down to target one. Check that out from the software, the website, please. Go to harmonictrader.com, the basic members page, and then you're welcome to try all these. I'm showing you guys the eSignal version, but I still say, since everyone is on TradingView, just send your TradingView username to HPC at sr-analyst.com. That's my partner. Top best programmer in the industry, in my opinion, and that's what we got there. So, and if you want to run both for trials, so be it. Go for it. Couple more. I want to jump to crypto. A lot on stocks because I think the stocks are at an interesting spot. I want to show one or two more. Here's let's jump right back to stuff like Netflix. Okay, I thought Netflix was going to $90. It's now 316. I was saying that at 250 because I thought we would get confirmation up at the hop at 252 and then go. What did it do? It blew through the hop. I mean, right through the hop at 252. Then retested with HSI. So I say that's bullish until I see Harmonic Strength Index register, fill the gap to 334. And it's been super strong. Okay, but still, you're just recovering weekly stuff, a weekly range that's massive. And check that out. Big deep crab right at the hop. 630 was a pretty fine number for Netflix. Impressive. Let me bring the other one. Apple is one that I did want to mention. There you go. So a lot of people are bearish long term on Apple. I saw some interesting work recently about a broadening kind of diamond formation on Apple. Mitch, I think you could probably speak to some of that, what you thought on Apple. I don't know if it was specifically you, but I saw a couple people talking about something like this. I'm more interested in the daily, this thing back to back with Apple, and still say, look for Apple to register the next bullish HSI lower, maybe 138. Many back-to-back patterns on Apple, but this is in a spot where if it comes down, registers HSI one more time. It's not there yet, but like you saw on Amazon or Google, comes down like this and then could go. That's 2 of 2. And I say that because it's Apple. We've seen it with other big stocks that hit the 2 of 2 and then they go. So 138, you're only 146 right now. Just keep in mind 138. Apple, big number. And then the final thing, a lot of these other Cathie Wood style plays are getting actually even more interesting right now. Here's Cathie's arc. Let's get that right. There you go on a daily. Big shark pattern. Coming back into the zone to retest these lows. Okay, but I think this is, where's the weekly? There you go. There's the weekly. Let me clean this up. This reminds me a lot of crypto charts. Now, is it the XA level, beautiful bat pattern? Where's the confirmation on all of this? Is this something that's turning around currently, trying to hold these lows, or are we going to flush to something like the hop? take out anywhere under, close under 32, you're done on that. And these are the ones that have been wavering for a while. The other one obviously is Coinbase. So if you want to know if this is these kind of stocks are out of the woods yet, what do you say? Coinbase does have there you go. A couple of back-to-back patterns. Remember the deep crab down here? Sorry, let me bring that into view. There you go. Hop level's 49. It's at 46.78. Who's buying Coinbase? Anyone going to buy Coinbase? Because you're sitting right there, right at a major hop level, little back-to-back patterns. Obviously, death is, under 43. Still valid. Still trying to, hold its head here at 49. I'm going to turn off all the noise. I'm just saying, what is that going to do? Or is it going to go straight down and fail? You can wait on this. All right. But I think if it turns around here, you look at possibilities of that being it. Teladoc. Coming down. There you go. Beautiful deep crab, 24 bucks. Is the official type 2 for this. Okay, don't get me wrong. This is still early, folks, but you want that retest. You want this stuff to get retested like that. I don't like Coinbase. I really don't, but I'm going to keep an eye on it for if this is going to fall apart in that next phase, if that's it, or are these patterns going to hold. Here's a big one. I've mentioned this recently. I really like it. Just depends exactly where in the zone. Here's Shopify. 1 second. Let me bring up Shopify on the other chart. There you go. Shopify on a weekly. There you go. It's a beautiful weekly shark. Last week, 3-bar breakout on that lower zone. Pretty big development there. Looks like this. Closes, what was that, 43? 1, 2, 3. That prior range, it was 41.85. Coming off of this low, you're at a totally different spot here than you were even in the summer. Just, if you're not looking at these, those are the beat up tech from the year where sitting in massive pattern zones like that, I think they're definitely worth getting on the radar for any potential pullback here of, look, go on an hourly chart for Shopify. See how many times this thing is giving you hourly, 4-hour continuations since that low. Last set of patterns around 31. I would be patient on this. We come back to 35. You're at 41 at the moment. Plenty of time on that. Obviously, the weekly is taking its time, but they're big patterns. I think it's going to, come January, they will attempt a change and just shoot the gap. I think this could go, these low 40s up to 53 minimum. And then we know, listen, if we're here down in the zone and we know it's type 1, well, what's the objective? What's the possibility here? Is 103.55 target 1? So then you do R to R. But that is a valid target. And much in the same way when you're looking at something like Meta, if it can come off of these lows, where are we right now? 122.20. All right, not bad in light of the fact that you're getting crushed today. But those are valid propositions. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but I'm not going to ignore these big patterns. There's big patterns going into the end of the year, bullish patterns that even if you come back and retest them, I would still look at those as possible entries going forward with these target ones as objectives, long-term objectives, because it's a weekly chart. It could take a year to get there, but that's the proposition. 97 on the downside, 242 on the upside. Let's really jump quickly to crypto. We'll run through the top 5. Tomorrow I'll spend a lot more time on crypto. Also probably talk about cannabis because the cannabis stocks look like they're turning around. But let's just straight up. Number 1, Ethereum. What's going on? Here we go. Oh, anybody have money with Gemini? That's the new word. Gemini's got potential problems. I don't know. I have a little bit still there. I thought that was safe. I'm going to just say I don't have any kind of representation. Nothing. I was saying I thought they were safe. Forget that. Ethereum. Where's the Gartley? Here you go. Here's the Gartley. It's type 2 Gartley. This is number 1 on the list, and it's basically done the check back, and now what? Official type 2 off of that. The thing that cancels this is a violation of that trend line. We almost got a 3-bar breakdown recently. That's just bump stops here. You should not go under 1225, folks, going forward. If this is a real type 2 and you're just taking your time to make your way up to target 1, 1489, or target 2, 1696, you can't turn back now. Yep. Just, I don't know, I've just heard, because they're attached to Genesis, they had $1 billion loan, $900 million loan. I don't know. Who knows? It's wouldn't be surprising, right? But you can bump stops, 1225. Should not come back, should not really go under 1225 going forward. If this is going to go make progress, you need to do it now. We're day 6 here since that initial pop, and then you have to get a close above 1300, or this just does not do anything. This starts to become Bitcoin at 20,000. Number 2 on the list, Binance Coin. I still think that's an opportunity to rip the pops. And we were saying that at what was that? What's that? Why is FTX on the FTX exchange? Why does it show it? That's crazy. Okay, on a legitimate exchange like Binance's own exchange, we have talked about HSI on the downside, and this is not. I don't know if this is going to come back. Sometimes, if they don't come back like that within the first few bars and they start to slide, just be aware of that. I would still think if we come back to 310 and then go down, that would be the right kind of check back procedure you'd want to see. 279. Don't be surprised to see that be tested. I don't think Binance Coin, though, is really, there's much here. If I'm just looking at this, throw off the title of whatever this is. For me, I would look at this last bearish HSI signal and look at the corresponding behavior at that trigger point, which is 295. 295 is major. That's a major resistance point for now until what I would think this come back down, and for Binance Coin, this would be a logical thing. 205 retest, come back, check back, hit that prior reading. Why not? Next one, Bitcoin, of course, 17,000. Throw it a party. still in a downtrend. I mean, that's it. Yeah, I've said this probably for 2 or 3 months where you're just going to have to work it out till the end of the year, get into January, get to the right of that downtrend. We could, I don't think we can stretch it out much further than it is. Pretty much trigger off that last point, but it will get to the right of this downtrend, print the next candle or two. And but no matter what, I would still say this has got to do the 886, 11.8, 11.8. 11.8 with, I'll say this, the 886 all-time kind of cycle here, even if we go like that, is 10.3. If we go off the all-time data, we can go further back and say something like this, just to give you that kind of longer term projection. What's the absolute low? 8,000 is that all-time 886. But the cycle, I think we can all agree, is around 11,000, and that doesn't change. The other thing about Bitcoin that doesn't change is the fact that with this downtrend, you want this formation to be a deep crab that ends at a 1618 or a 2.0. That's what it is. The software is not drawing it out, but it has taken that shape. The only thing that it's not really here yet is it a complete 30 bar formation? There you go. There's one. Where are we? It's 25 bars. That's probably why the software is not generating it. It's not 30 bars. So you would need 5 more weeks for that to be a legitimate pattern possibility. That takes you to early January. Yeah, early January. So, but the 1618 throwdown here, you would want this to be like a real hard throwdown move that sets up a divergence. A big divergence, like I said, 11.8 throws it down, and that could potentially be it. But not 17. Sorry. It's not going to happen. Let's go to something that is happening. It's made our top 10 for a long time. Doge. It had a big move last night. What's it doing? I mean, this is crazy. It's bat pattern. It hit the target though. And here's 4-hour chart. There you go. 1090 is target 1 off of that bat pattern on the 4-hour chart. So that kissed it last night and got rejected. Is HSI up there? No HSI. Keep an eye on it. That could be a first target, and we wouldn't be surprised if that is the end of the type 1. I would prefer to see confirmation. But 1090 is the target 1 for Doge. So that's, I'm impressed with the action, but unless it gets above 1090, it's just going to probably continue to grind. It's a better chart than most, crazy as that is, because it has a fair amount of steady accumulation here. It's broken out of its long-term downtrends. You've got several patterns. The weekly stuff here is just pretty substantial. Let me clean up the lines here. I mean, that's trying to form a couple of higher lows, and then you crack above 15 cents. There's really, you could set up a BAM situation, a bat action magnet move, where it would look like something like this. Don't want to be crazy here, but this is kind of the proposition that if this gains steam over the next X amount of months and weeks, yeah, that's not crazy. And I know daily time frame we had some things here. Yeah, a couple of it is a type 2 ABCD by definition. So you should see this thing Trend back up to 1579, I think. No doubt. Maybe an 886 retrace. Maybe Mitch could speak to that. Make another run up to 16 before the end of the year. That would be nice. That'd be a 50% gain. 60. It's kind of a crazy call, but possibly. Yeah, you're in a return phase. Excuse me. You're in a type 2. You did hit this ABCD and you flashed it. I mean, amazing. And so 1590, 15.9 cents. The last one's Cosmos. And we've said this forever. It was 11 or 8. We were looking at 8. Let's start looking at 9. 950. It's trying to base out. 972. It's 1039 at the moment. But a possible type 2 here, type 1 that could get you back to 1250, 14 level. And you have this other bearish pattern. You got a couple of things that could pull this back up to like 14 and change. You hold this. 972 is the number. Could do this kind of like check, a retest of that support level as it builds. And this has one second. I think this was, sorry. No, I confused that with something else. I thought that was a daily bat pattern as well. Yeah, it is a daily bat pattern there. There you go. It is a daily bat pattern. It's a type 2 daily bat pattern, by the way, where 898 has just held. So you're 1040. And now it's 1041. Are you guys pushing this? Look, by definition, I'd say target 2. You're pretty solid there. Did you get down there? No, you didn't really register. On amplified, you did. Harmonic strength index, you did not. But if you're trading it, sure, that's a reaction. Rune went from 90 cents to 140, but didn't it go from 350 to 90 cents? I think those metaverse, I'll take a look at those. They've been decimated. Rune, I have Rune at $1, $1.10 to $1.40. Rune's a tough one. All those metaverse stocks really failed. They failed those signals way back when. Probably was like September on that flush. And I don't, not much here. Oh, look, Rune's flashing, flashed a Gartley, bearish Gartley back in August. That's like these other ones, here's Sandbox. Get it on a legitimate exchange. Sandbox, another small pattern inside of a big pattern. Some confirmation too, all of that at 62 cents. I mean, but it's really tough to be in stuff like this that have just done nothing for 6 months. In fact, look, Sandbox last signal on Harmonic Strength Index is bearish here, and it's straight down. So, it's really tough to put money to this. Even though that's a massive back-to-back pattern situation, until I think Bitcoin or Ethereum really demonstrates something. That's a beautiful, beautiful setup under normal circumstances, but not with this kind of stuff. Not in these markets. You want to look at Tesla? I'll look at Tesla. I'll close it out with Tesla because that is a good one to look at. The rest of the crypto, just really the Solanas of the world. Again, I don't know what's going to happen to this, but it is interesting. We talked about this last week. I don't know. I don't know anything about Solana to give it a value judgment of uh, what's going to happen with it, who's the real holder of it. We do have really nice pattern, a deep crab coming after a very long-term bullish pattern that didn't do much. We had a bat pattern at 43, and look what happened on the first 30 days. From there to there, sideways. It's not even that. It's like that. Sideways to down, and then you spent better part of 5 months going sideways before the big flush. Is this mean anything, that deep crab at 12 bucks? Not unless we get a bullish trigger, and you've got a bearish trigger at the moment. So a couple people sent me this. I'm aware that the software registered this. It's probably one just to stay away from it. It's not worth it. If you want to trade that type 2 in Ethereum. Yeah, I mean, it's without the, listen, this one never, the pattern completed there. And we look for a green arrow. We didn't get one. This is where HSI helps us actually in a lot of situations. That, look, Solana, it's tempting. I hear it. You know, it's got decimated, but you don't have a constructive indicator value with the pattern. That's a harmonic strength index is exhausted here, overbought. That just says it has to go, has to pause, has to. If you can't agree with the fact that that's an overbought signal, or a warning signal, you just say, all right, then it's just at least going to pause. It's going to take 20, 30 bars to work itself out. You're bar 7. You can watch it. It's an interesting development. It's just not, it's not something I want to lean into. And I'll show one or two super small coins that have kind of worked out. Here's this anchor coin where, you know, a big bat pattern with $2 on the low side is general area, 2.2 or 2 cents. We had this massive deep crab pattern. So far that's worked out in terms of just targeting some kind of small ST coin at a major harmonic support level, but it's not really popping. This should pop to like 3.7 or 4.5 cents. It should do a big move like that. That's been a great one that we've been on top of for a long time. It's just not doing much though. It hasn't hurt anybody. You know, anyone that's followed that or gotten into that, we've been really clear of. We were really clear actually this summer of the reaction up and then looking for the reversal back down. With reversal on the retest. But hit the levels, gone stabilizing, just hasn't done anything yet. Is it worth to stay in it? I don't know. I'm not in Anchor, by the way. Just be clear about that. I'm in Doge. Here's Chili's. Here's that other one that we've been looking for, the retest of the big crab pattern. 11.3. You know, a couple times it's trying to flash down. And I've been saying that since 28 cents. I said this is at 20, at 17, that hit the minimum target right there with HSI. That's where we say we're basically done, 23 cents. But even at 28 cents, I said this still has to do the return. And that's at 11.3. So again, could come back down. That would be where the larger retest scenario possibility can happen. But it's been a good one for understanding just simply the reaction reversal dynamic. Like this is, we've known that this is just a reaction. Need to get it in the right spot with a lot of those. And XRP, because I know there's a couple XRP people here. And XRP, I like to feature it because it's got patterns. It's got several formations here. This is Binance, where, okay, we're 2 of 2 on a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, here's XRP with a couple of different patterns, type 1, and then we've got another shark pattern that's setting up, come back 34 cents would be the secondary retest, and longer term, 31, 32 cents. You're looking for that to happen with some kind of oversold trigger very soon, the next 2 weeks. Here's HSI on XRP, Harmonic Strength Index. Let it come down, retest and trigger down here, and all that's 34 cents, 32 cents if you really want to be patient with XRP, and then see what happens. There's the weekly. The weekly's look, that's a pretty much straight up massive pattern. Look, it's a big, beautiful bat pattern. And your XA level down here off that is around 30, call it 31 cents, 32 cents. Let me clean it up. There you go. So look at the zone here on the weekly. That's frames it out quite nicely. You even had confirmation. This is the ideal scenario for all harmonic pattern completions, no matter what the time frame is. This is it. You get the pattern completion, you get HSI with the arrow. This is a weekly chart, so you're talking like weeks to make that decision, but the XA level is still the entry point at 31.4. It completes here, it checks back 1 and 2 green arrows, and you still get a third test here to do a big thrust up. So you didn't get a full type 1, but that's a big move, and that's at least an example of a simple reaction. This also means that all of these numbers here at 31, 32 are incredibly significant. I mean, that is the area to be looking here on the weekly chart. But I just, for XRP and the rest of them, I don't know about the space in general. Been disappointing. So let me wrap up here. Thanks everybody for showing up today. Thanks Mitch Ray. Great to see you and everyone else that showed up. S&P's rolling over. It's looks like about to make a new low for the day. What's Nasdaq's down 415 now. Interesting. S&P down almost 70. What's the Dow? Dow's down 400. All right, we'll come back on tomorrow. Again, I'm looking for that pullback at the 4,000 level. Let's just take a quick peek at S&P. It's been a great session, guys. I'll just leave you with this. Here you go. 4-hour chart. It's that crab pattern. Oh, hold on. We'll start with this tomorrow, because I'll be talking about the seminar tomorrow as well. What we're going to do on Saturday. For those that want more information about the seminar, it'll be on the basic members page and gold members page later today. Tomorrow I'll get into a little bit of that. This is the S&P chart that we started with today, and I just wanted to kind of go back to here. Again, the big thing to look for on the 4-hour chart is this 4-hour pivot. So ride this down until we pivot out. We're going to kind of, the setup for tomorrow will be something like that. When it comes under 4,000 or above 4,000, keep an eye on that. We'll start here tomorrow, and this will be tied into the seminar. All right, thanks again, everybody. You have a great one. We'll catch you tomorrow. If you have any questions, reach out on the Discord.